What if I told you that one of the most influential cartoons ever made almost never existed? Today, millions of people remember Adventure Time as the story of a brave boy, his magical dog, and a colorful land full of bizarre creatures. But beneath its goofy jokes and strange characters was something much bigger. Adventure Time completely changed what animated television could be. It inspired a new generation of artists, influenced dozens of modern cartoons, and proved that children's animation could tell emotional, complex stories without losing its sense of fun. But none of that was guaranteed. Before becoming one of Cartoon Network's greatest successes, Adventure Time was rejected, ignored, and considered far too weird for television. So, how did one strange little cartoon end up changing animation forever? Let's find out. Before we begin, let me know in the comments. Which animated series should I cover next? And if you enjoy videos about the stories behind your favorite cartoons, don't forget to subscribe to Miblix. Now, let's go back to where it all started. Long before Finn and Jake became household names, there was a young artist with an unusual imagination. His name was Pendleton Ward. As a child, Ward loved drawing strange creatures and making up bizarre stories. Unlike many future animators who dreamed about superheroes or realistic adventures, he was fascinated by randomness, fantasy, and worlds where absolutely anything could happen. That creative freedom would later become the heart of Adventure Time. Ward eventually studied animation and began working in the industry, but like many young artists, he was still searching for his own voice. One of his biggest opportunities came when he worked on another Cartoon Network series, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. Although he wasn't the creator, working alongside talented artists helped him develop a unique storytelling style, one that mixed absurd comedy with surprisingly emotional moments. Many future Adventure Time creators also worked on Flapjack. Without realizing it, they were already building the creative team that would later change animation. In 2007, Pendleton Ward created something incredibly unusual. It wasn't a TV show. It wasn't even meant to become one. It was simply a 7-minute animated short. The story followed a boy named Finn, originally called Pen, and his magical dog Jake as they rescued a princess from the Ice King. The animation looked rough. The humor was completely unpredictable. The world made almost no logical sense. And somehow, it worked. Adventure Time felt different from anything else on television. Instead of trying to explain every strange idea, it simply invited viewers to enjoy the adventure. The short was selected for Nickelodeon's Random Cartoons, a showcase created by legendary animation producer Fred Seibert, who had previously helped launch shows like The Fairly OddParents and Chalk Zone. But when the short finally aired, almost nobody expected what happened next. Something unusual happened after the pilot was released. People began uploading clips online. Fans shared the episode across forums and early video websites. Word spread incredibly fast. This was long before TikTok. Long before streaming platforms dominated entertainment. Yet Adventure Time was already becoming an internet phenomenon. People loved its unpredictable humor. Its weird characters. Its unforgettable dialogue. And most importantly, its originality. The pilot slowly gained a passionate fanbase. For many viewers, it didn't feel like another cartoon. It felt like something completely new. There was only one problem. No television network wanted to turn it into a full series. At least, not yet. Despite the pilot's growing popularity online, turning Adventure Time into a real television series proved surprisingly difficult. Nickelodeon had already passed on the idea more than once. To the executives making these decisions, the pilot may have been popular, but that did not necessarily mean it could support an entire series. A strange 7-minute short was one thing. Building a complete world, producing dozens of episodes, and keeping viewers interested every week was something entirely different. For a while, it seemed as though Adventure Time might remain nothing more than a forgotten internet cartoon. But eventually, the rights to the project became available again. And Frederator Studios began searching for a new home. That search led them to Cartoon Network. The network saw potential in Adventure Time, but its executives still had doubts. They wanted Pendleton Ward to prove that the original pilot had not simply been a lucky accident. Adventure Time needed more than funny dialogue and random ideas. It needed characters viewers could care about. It needed a world capable of producing story after story. And most importantly, it needed a clear identity. Ward began developing new material with two of his former classmates, Patrick McHale and Adam Muto. Both would eventually become incredibly important to the future of the series. Their first attempt followed Finn and Princess Bubblegum on a spaghetti dinner date. But Cartoon Network rejected it. The story did not capture the energy that had made the original pilot so memorable. Once again, Adventure Time was in danger of disappearing. So the team returned to the beginning. Instead of trying to make the show safer or more conventional, they decided to embrace what made it unusual. They developed a new story called the Enchiridion. In it, Finn must complete a series of dangerous challenges to prove that he deserves to become a true hero. The episode contained action, comedy, fantasy, and the unpredictable imagination of the original short. But it also revealed something essential about Finn. He was not simply a loud kid who enjoyed fighting monsters. He genuinely wanted to help people. That gave the series something it had been missing. A heart. This time, Cartoon Network saw the possibilities. In 2008, the network officially approved Adventure Time as a full animated series. The rejected pilot had survived. But getting the show approved was only the beginning. Now Ward and his team had to transform a 7-minute experiment into an entire universe. Finn was redesigned and developed into a more complete character. Jake became more than a magical sidekick. Princess Bubblegum, the Ice King, and the Land of Ooo were expanded far beyond their original versions. Artists began designing kingdoms, monsters, ruins, and landscapes that looked as though they had existed long before the audience arrived. The world was colorful and cheerful. But something about it also felt strangely ancient. Broken objects and abandoned structures appeared in the background. Pieces of old technology were scattered across the land. The show rarely stopped to explain them. They were simply there. And that made the world feel much larger than any single episode. Adventure Time also used an unusual production process. Rather than writing every episode as a traditional script, much of the storytelling was developed through storyboards. Artists were not only responsible for drawing scenes. They also helped shape the dialogue, comedy, action, and emotional moments. This allowed different creators to bring their own personalities into the series while still working inside Pendleton Ward's strange and imaginative world. The result was controlled chaos. One episode could be about fighting a giant monster. The next could focus on friendship, loneliness, or a character making a terrible mistake. Adventure Time never seemed afraid to change its tone. And when the series officially premiered on Cartoon Network on April 5, 2010, viewers immediately responded. The premiere attracted around 2.5 million viewers. For a show that had once struggled to find a network, it was an extraordinary beginning. Children loved the action, colorful characters, and strange humor. Teenagers repeated lines from the show and shared clips online. Adults began noticing that the writing was far more thoughtful than they had expected. Adventure Time appeared simple. But the more people watched, the more they realized that something deeper was hiding beneath the surface. Finn was not a perfect hero. He became jealous. He made selfish decisions. He experienced rejection and heartbreak. Then he learned from those experiences and slowly grew older. Jake was funny and relaxed, but his advice was not always correct. Princess Bubblegum could be kind and intelligent, but she could also be controlling, secretive, and morally questionable. Even the Ice King, who first appeared to be nothing more than a ridiculous villain, would eventually become one of the most tragic characters in the entire series. Adventure Time did not divide its world into completely good people and completely evil people. Its characters were flawed. They changed. They hurt one another. They forgave one another. And sometimes, just like real people, they had no idea what they were doing. The show was still filled with sword fights, magical creatures, and absurd jokes. But slowly, almost without viewers noticing, it began exploring loneliness, growing up, lost memories, broken relationships, and the fear of change. And then came one of its greatest revelations. The Land of Ooo was not simply a magical fantasy kingdom. It was Earth. More than 1,000 years after a devastating catastrophe known as the Mushroom War. Suddenly, the ruins in the background made sense. The abandoned technology had a history. The cheerful world of candy people and talking animals had grown from the remains of human civilization. Adventure Time had been showing viewers a post-apocalyptic world from the very beginning. It had simply hidden the truth beneath bright colors and silly adventures. And that was when the series began transforming into something much bigger than anyone had expected. Adventure Time was no longer just a successful cartoon. It was becoming a story about growing up in a world shaped by the mistakes of the past. And its influence was about to spread far beyond the Land of Ooo. By the middle of the 2010s, Adventure Time had become much more than one of Cartoon Network's biggest hits. It had become a turning point for animation itself. Before Adventure Time, most children's cartoons followed a familiar formula. Episodes were usually self-contained. Characters rarely changed. No matter what happened, everything returned to normal by the end of the episode. Adventure Time broke those rules. Its characters remembered the past. They changed over time. Relationships evolved. Mistakes had consequences. And every new season made the world feel larger than before. Viewers weren't simply watching random adventures anymore. They were watching a story that kept growing year after year. Soon, other creators began taking notice. Many artists and writers who would later create their own successful shows had worked on Adventure Time. Rebecca Sugar, one of the storyboard artists, went on to create Steven Universe. Patrick McHale created Over the Garden Wall. Other former crew members helped shape shows like Regular Show, Summer Camp Island, OKKO, Let's Be Heroes, and many more. Adventure Time had quietly become a training ground for some of the most influential creators in modern animation. Its influence reached far beyond Cartoon Network. Studios realized that young audiences were ready for stories with deeper characters and long-term storytelling. Animation no longer had to choose between being funny or emotional. It could be both. Adventure Time proved that a children's cartoon could make people laugh one moment and bring them close to tears the next. The series also earned widespread critical acclaim. It received multiple Emmy Awards, Peabody recognition, and dozens of nominations throughout its run. Critics praised its creativity, emotional storytelling, and willingness to take risks. But perhaps its greatest achievement wasn't measured by awards. It was measured by the people it inspired. Thousands of artists began drawing in Adventure Time's distinctive style. Cosplayers brought Finn, Jake, Marceline, and Princess Bubblegum to conventions around the world. Fans created music, animations, artwork, comics, and countless theories about the hidden history of the Land of Ooo. Even years after the series ended, its community remained incredibly active. And speaking of the ending, in 2018, after 10 unforgettable seasons, Adventure Time came to a close. For many fans, saying goodbye felt like saying goodbye to a part of their childhood. But the story didn't truly end there. The world of Ooo returned through Adventure Time, Distant Lands, giving beloved characters new adventures and emotional conclusions. Then came Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake, proving that the universe Pendleton Ward had imagined still had many stories left to tell. Very few animated series remain this relevant years after their finale. Adventure Time is one of them. Looking back, it's almost impossible to imagine modern animation without it. Without Adventure Time, shows like Steven Universe, The Owl House, Infinity Train, Amphibia, and many others might have looked very different. Its influence can still be seen in storytelling, character writing, and world building across the animation industry. And perhaps that's the greatest legacy of all. Adventure Time taught millions of viewers that growing up doesn't mean losing your imagination. It showed that even the strangest worlds can tell the most human stories. That heroes make mistakes. That villains can be victims. That change is inevitable. And that every adventure, no matter how incredible, eventually comes to an end. What began as a strange 7-minute internet cartoon became one of the most influential animated series ever created. It changed Cartoon Network. It changed modern animation. And for many people, it changed childhood itself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the story behind Adventure Time, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Miblix. And if you haven't already, let me know in the comments which animated series you'd like to see covered next. Your suggestion might become the next documentary on the channel. See you in the next video.